Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Tired as heck. I saw the game, Florida State and Florida, and basically the last 3 seasons, Florida has won the Florida State Florida rivalry. It was cool how they showed all the history of in the 90s. Our game a lot of times dictated who was going to the national title game. A lot of times. Out of all those games, we basically, we were the dictator of that game 9 times, which is astonishing. This rivalry has been going on forever. We beat Miami earlier this year by blowing them out. And this game, we survived Florida, even though I felt like the pass interference call at the end of the game was questionable to give Florida some more downs. And then the face mask, which should have been called, because Anthony Richardson's face mask was grabbed by number 10, I believe. I can't think of all these young guys' names. I wasn't impressed. I'm very upset. Defensively, I felt like Florida State left a lot of they let Anthony Richardson get going down the stretch by running the ball, doing the RPO, getting outside the pocket or putting the ball down and flooring it up the middle, up the B gap. And I kept saying all year, Florida State's middle linebacker is not that good. He's athletic. He's very fast, but he's light in the ass. He looked like he's about 215. If you're a middle linebacker, I need my middle linebacker to be in the 230s. And not only that, he wasn't reading his keys a lot. What I mean by reading the keys is your triangle. If you're every middle linebacker knows, or linebacker period, knows what the triangle is. The triangle is the running back to the guards. Okay? Those will tell you where the play is going 9 times out of 10. Doesn't matter if the fullback is offset or the fullback is front side or the fullback is back side or weak side, as we would say it, lined up weak side. It doesn't matter. The running back is going to tell you where everything is going. And a lot of times, number 4, Deloach, because of him, Florida was able to capitalize on a lot of runs up the B gap and up the A gap, which was the left side, which we would call the 1 or the 2 hole, or in between the guard and tackle, or in between the guard and the center. So a lot of times when you're playing, see, this is the thing. Florida State has always been known for linebackers. We've never gone forever without having linebackers or a D-line. The D-line, to me, they hold their gaps. They were holding their gaps the whole game. The problem is there's too many times the linebackers are not set. They were not aligned correctly. The secondary, it was too many times the safeties had to come up and bail the linebackers out tonight. And that's why you got a high-scoring game like you had. On the other side, Florida is down a lot of injuries. They're down injuries, and everybody's hurt on their team. Their middle linebacker, their starting middle linebacker, was called for targeting last week, which is ridiculous to me. I don't know why they do this targeting crap. If it's a target in the game, I believe that, you know, they should not be suspended for the next game because it's too much implication in the game. Now, people will say, oh, well, we had that linebacker, we don't win the game. Florida's defense is very terrible, too. Their linebackers aren't good at reading the ball. Their front four, actually, their inside tackles really controlled the line of scrimmage tonight against the run. The thing where Florida is weak at, it wasn't the middle, even though 51 wasn't in the middle tonight until the second half. The problem with Florida was their edges. They do not know how to attack the edge. And that's why I kept saying Florida State let them off the hook. Now, on our side, Florida let us off the hook because they were not running a lot of RPOs with Anthony Richardson, which I was very shocked because our middle linebacker is weak. Our Mike linebacker is probably the weakest person on our defense. And they didn't even take advantage of it. And I'm sitting here like, Florida's coach is dumb as hell. Florida has a dumbass coach. Y'all coach is stupid. You should have been doing RPOs. I would have ran triple options, double options, and I would have let it go on the ground. I'm just sitting there like, man, Florida is really letting our defense off the hook. And then on Florida State side, the second half came, the defense they did better. But they still were letting Anthony Richardson get outside the pocket. And Anthony Richardson, he's got to work on his decision making. And when he's under pressure, Florida State, I would have sent a blitz and I would have had somebody hang back and QB spy. And all of that, what Richardson was doing, would have been shut down. Anthony Richardson is terrible against the blitz. Terrible. He's terrible. When they did do a spy a few times and they sent the blitz, he was discombobulated. Now, Jordan Travis, Florida, to me, they did good early on blitzing him, and they had gap containment. But here's the thing, poor tackling. They had Jordan Travis dead to rights most of the night. And because of poor tackling, they allowed Jordan Travis to strike on their defense. And like I told you guys, I am not a Jordan Travis fan. I think he holds the ball too long. I think he locks onto a receiver too long. And that other receiver that we had, number 14, Johnny Wilson, he's soft. He cannot take physicality. Kudos to the Florida Gators cornerbacks. Florida Gators cornerbacks were physical all night. They did a great job on him. I felt like Micah Pittman should have been used more in this game because they had nobody who really could guard him in the slot. Florida has a good receiver too, that white boy, number 1. I can't think of his name, but also he got to get some weight on him because he's too light. He gets pushed around way too much, but he can run routes though. He's a good route runner. The secondary, the corners look in the backfield too much for Florida State. It was so many bad fundamentals out there tonight. I don't even know how we're number 16 in the country. We must have been playing against some scrubs. And the other teams around the country just aren't that good. I mean, because we should not be number 16. I told you guys when I saw the spring game and the fall game with the garnet and gold game, I told you guys this team does not look good. Um, Now offensively, the play calling has gotten a whole lot better than what I've seen the past 4 or 5 weeks. It's gotten a lot better. But that's not really saying much. Florida was down all of its players. This is a rivalry game, so it doesn't matter if Florida was out there with their 10th string players. They still are going to play us tough. Now, total yards. Now, well, first, before I get to that, F you, Q Lee, because you did jinx the game like I knew you would. You're not slick. You're not slick. I just want to tell you that now, Q. You're not slick. You jinxed the game. And I knew what you were doing. That's why I'm still pissed off at you, because I knew this game was going to go like this. Now, Florida scored 14 in the first, so did Florida State. Second quarter, Gators had 10. We had 7. Third quarter, this is what killed Florida. Florida put up no points in the third quarter. You know, we dropped 17. Fourth quarter, they dropped 14 and we dropped 7. Luckily, we got 7 to close out the game. And I just want to give a shout out to the running back for Florida State, Trey Benson. Shout out to Trey Benson. Benson played a hell of a game. He ran the hell out that ball. I think he's going to play on the next level. I would hope he would go to either the Bucks. You know, I could see him with the Bucks. I could see him play for us. He would be a good running back for our team, especially with Rashad White. That'll be a good 1-2 punch. The score was 45-38. We won. Total yards, Florida had 460. Florida State had 497. Passing yards, we had 270. The Gators had 198. Rushing yards, 262 by Florida. We had 227. Yards per play, we had 7. They had 6. First downs, we had 26. Florida had 22. Now, this is what was the difference in the game. We were 9 of 16 on third downs, which is 56%, which we're 6th in the country on third downs, which is surprising to me. But we're a good third down team. Florida, they were 8 of 16, which is 50%. That's average, but that's pretty good in college football standards. Fourth downs, we were 50%. They were 33%. They were 1 of 3, and we were 1 of 2. Total plays, 74 by us, 73 by the Gators. They had 3 punts. We had 2. Penalties, we had 6 for 38 yards. They had 10 for 91 yards. Florida was getting a lot of penalties. A lot of unnecessary penalties. I'll say 4 of those penalties I thought were iffy, but the other 6, they were dumb. Our penalties, we had 6. I believe 2 of those were iffy, but the rest of them were penalties. The fumbles lost, we had 1. They had 1 interception thrown, so both had 1 turnover each. Time of possession, we had the ball for 30 minutes and 7 seconds compared to Florida's 29 minutes and 53 seconds, which is a differentiation of 54 seconds. So it wasn't that much. That really didn't hurt the game. What messed the game up was Anthony Richardson in the second half just was terrible throwing the ball. I felt like the coach was putting him too much in the pocket, which basically made him a sitting duck. Like, it made him a sitting duck in the pocket. He basically like was a sitting duck, and and he was just standing up, just sitting there. Now he was getting blitzed. Now he can't handle the blitz well. If you're going to play on the next level and you want to go to the next level, you got to be able to handle the blitz. You know, you're going to have to be able to handle the blitz. You're gonna have to basically learn how to not only handle the blitz, you got to learn how to make your throws, and you got to set your feet. You got to set your feet. You got to set your feet, you know, and you got to not only set your feet, you got to know where your hot read is at. Your hot read is the guy who's right there, like you can get the ball out quick to him. So that's what he has to work on. Florida just had injuries, man, and that's it. um, other than that, I mean, what else can we say? Like, what else can we say, or what else can we put out there? You know, you know. That's what Richardson has to work on. I mean, that's all he really has to work on is that. That's all. And he has to work on his footwork, like how he needs to use more of his legs behind him when he throws the ball. He's just flicking the ball out there, and a lot of times it got away from him. Jordan Travis, he's gotten better. I just don't like Jordan Travis. To me, he's up and down. You don't know if you're gonna get a good quarterback this game or you're gonna get a average quarterback this game. And that's what I see when I see Jordan Travis. The head coach has done a great job as far as putting the team together. He's done a good job. You got to give him his credit. His first year he had 3 wins. His second year he had like 5 wins. This year he's at 9 wins. Now, albeit, we haven't had the strongest schedule, which we haven't, but you have to give credit where credit is due. And he did a good job as far as adjustments, especially in the second half. Defensively, I've told you guys, if, we go against a team who's good at play action and running the ball, we're in trouble. The linebackers are too light to me. To me, the linebackers are like safeties out there. We don't have those same linebackers. Like, we used to have linebackers who were very, skinny, and they weren't like muscle bound guys, but hey, they got the job done. They would get there. They knew how to read. They knew how to read and react. They knew how to shed blockers. Number 4 has a problem shedding blockers. Too many times he's jumping around blocks, and when he jumps around blocks, you get what ETN gets, which is a long run for a touchdown. Like, Florida State should have lost this game. Like, they played terrible. The only reason we won is because Florida's coach is dumb as hell. That's the only reason why we won. I'm like, man, this dude is dumb. And then Florida, they cry too much. They're crying for flags the whole game. They're crying. Listen, this is a rivalry game. There's no crying. You either going to do it or you not going to do it, bruh. And they weren't doing it at all. They weren't doing it at all. They were getting shut down. They weren't getting anything going. And they trying to cry for I'm like, dog, you guys still have a chance to win the game. So why are you guys like crying? What are you crying about? You know, and then you had you know, the physicality of the game was cool, and then the refs started jumping in too much. Overall, the game to me was a C minus, D plus. The fundamentals are gone. I don't know if these coaches teach fundamentals. I don't know if they teach it. Now, Florida State, we have a good pass rush, but I mean, I ain't gonna say good. They're average at best. Florida has a good stout defense. Their front four to me has been their strength on the defense the whole year, and they're still showing it. Um, but as far as receivers, Florida State was basically showing that some guys they're just not ready for that next level. That number 14 Johnny Wilson got exposed, in my opinion. Like, he got exposed. I mean, big time. He got exposed. He got pushed around. And for you to be 6'7", you can't be getting pushed like that. Because on the next level, you're gonna have a pink slip fast. So so that's how I felt about the game. We snapped the 3-game losing streak to the Tators, but Q did he did sabotage the game. So I just want to say F you, Q, and go Noles. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you love what you hear, you can donate to the page by going to the description box, hitting that link to my Cash App, where you could donate whatever your heart's desire. You guys can also super chat when we go live or premiere a video. And you guys can leave a super thanks after the whole video is over with, after the fact. So thank you guys, man, for your love and blessings. We are out. Deezy.